Hi guys, this is Krish the Urban Naxal, and today again I'm going to talk about Hindutva bullshit number 4. So what is Hindutva bullshit number 4? Low resolution thinking. Your thinking is not detailed. It does not have resolution. It is like a very pixelated picture or a very fuzzy picture. You are not clear in your thinking. What do I mean by that? Let me explain. So I'm going to have this imaginary conversation with an imaginary Hindu who believes in a goddess. Okay? That goddess could be Lakshmi, Parvati, whatever. I don't care. I'm going to ask some questions to this guy, this imaginary Hindu. I'm going to give you the answer that I expect. What are the various options that he might have? So let us start. Hey man, you are a worshipper of Mother Goddess, right? Yes, sir, I am. Devi? Yes, I call her Devi. Okay, fantastic. So, this Devi, is she wearing clothes? How do you see her? Yeah, of course, she's wearing clothes. Sure, she's not nude or anything. No. She's wearing clothes. She's very graceful. She's dressed beautifully. Okay. She is dressed beautifully in what? A sari. Oh, sari. Yes, she is a Hindu goddess. So sari. Okay, good. In that case, is she also wearing a petticoat, a blouse, all those things that you have to wear when you are wearing a sari? Now the guy is already getting into some amount of trouble. Yes, she is wearing a petticoat. Okay. Cotton petticoat? Common material. Cotton? Yes. Excellent. What? Where was the cotton grown? Was it grown in India? Or was it grown in Swarglok? Now that's tough. Can a goddess who's a spiritual being, who's a supernatural being, be wearing cotton which was grown in India? Suppose he says yes. Oh, is it? Okay. So, do you suppose it might have been grown in Karad, that part of Maharashtra where cotton is grown? Could be. Oh, okay. So, a farmer grew that cotton? One particular farmer? Let us give him a name. His name is Rambhai Patil. So Rambhai Patil would have grown the cotton from which the petticoat of the goddess was made. And also the sari, I suppose. Does she wear cotton sari? Now the guy is in trouble. Is she wearing a cotton sari? Yes or no? If not, what is it made of? No. It is made of some heavenly fabric. Oh, heavenly fabric, is it? So, in heaven, you got people who grow cotton, or there are silkworms from which they make silk. Now to make silk, you have to boil the silkworm, you know that? You have to boil the cocoon of the silkworm and then the silk unravels. So do you suppose you had workers in heaven to boil the silkworms? Cotton. If it is cotton, in heaven they grow cotton? And the cotton has to be spun. Okay, and by the way, the people who do the spinning traditionally, is it hand spun or mill spun? Is it machine made or handmade? Well, it must be handmade. I don't think anyone will imagine a goddess with machine made clothes. Okay, excellent, handmade. So, handloom or power loom? No, handloom. Or maybe, spinning it the old fashioned way with a charkha. Yes. So you have workers in heaven who spin the thread and weave the clothes. By the way, in India, the people who weave clothes are called bunkar. Bunkars are scheduled castes. Okay, they are Harijans. They are lower caste. So you got bunkars, probably lower caste in heaven. Now the guy is in trouble. Because he likes to imagine that Hindus are all one single homogeneous mass. Now, when you start talking about lower caste and higher caste, about Bunkar, the faith flounders. But I'm going to go deeper. Oh, goddess. Okay, goddess. Chalo, chalo. Let us forget about what she is wearing. She is wearing some kind of clothes. Goddess. Is she a female? Proper female? Or is she kind of spiritual and just floating in the air and no substance, no body, nothing like that? If there is no substance, no body, etc., then why are you saying sari and dress and this, and she wears this jewelry and she holds her hand in this mudra and all that? Oh no, sir, that is all our imagination. Okay, so all that is your imagination. Her shape, her size, her color. She holds a trident in one hand, she holds a shankha in the other hand. All that is your imagination, is it? The guy is in trouble again. Instead, if he says, no, sir, goddess has this form, she's divine, but this is her divine form. Okay, so divine form. All those things that are shown in calendars, sari, blouse, jewelry, big crown on the head, beautiful woman, 30ish I should think, give or take 30, 35 years old. That's how you depict a goddess. So she's 30, 35 years old. No, she's thousands of years old. She's ageless. Okay, so the goddess is ageless, not 30, 35 years old. No, sir. She always looks like she's 30, 35. She's ageless. She's always beautiful. She's always perfect. Oh, perfect, is it? Perfect woman. Yes, she's a perfect woman. She's an immortal and she's a perfect woman. The goddess is a perfect woman, you're sure? Yes. No flaws, no shortcomings? No. She's a woman. Are you sure she's a woman? She's not genderless. No, she's a woman. She's feminine. It's the female principle of creation, sir. She's feminine. Okay. She's a female. Is she post-menopausal? Has she had her menopause? Or is she menstruating? Now the guy is in trouble. Because if he says post-menopausal, that means she's not fertile. She's not a complete woman, right? No, she's a complete woman. Okay. So then she has her periods. Sir, not monthly periods. Does she have any periods at all? At any time? Now the guy is in trouble again. Because if he says she's got periods, oh, she's not perfect. She has periods and cramps and all the rest of it like any other woman. Period blood, no doubt washed in heavenly rivers. No, sir. You are mistaking all that. It is not like that. She has periods or she has no periods, but she is full woman. She is proper woman. Oh, really? Okay. So she has reproductive organs. Full woman, right? Proper woman, right? I mean, it's not like she has clouds under her dress, her sari and blouse and whatever. It's not just some ethereal stuff. It's proper woman, right? Yes, sir. Proper woman with all the parts. Yes, sir, but she's perfect. Proper woman with all the parts that a woman has, all the sexual parts that the woman has. Yes, sir, but she's perfect. Okay. Now she has all the proper parts of a woman: vagina, ovaries, uterus, everything. Now the guy is in trouble again because he has to imagine goddess and vagina. He's never thought about goddess and vagina in the same sentence. Now he's in trouble. Yes or no? Or is it like from outside she looks like a woman, but inside it she's hollow body, nothing inside? No, sir. How can it be? She's a perfect person. Perfect. So goddess with vagina. She urinates. She must be having kidney and bladder also, no? She urinates. Now he's in trouble. Yes, sir, but her urine is perfect. Yeah, but she urinates. She's got perfect kidneys. She's got a perfect bladder, urinary bladder, and she urinates. She has the need to urinate, the urge to urinate. Yes, sir, but not like normal human beings. Yes, but she has an urge to urinate, is it? Then she eats also, is it? Yes, sir, heavenly food, heavenly food. Good, she eats heavenly food. So she may also take a crap. She needs to shit. Now again, this guy is in trouble. He has never thought of gods and goddesses and shit in the same sentence. What, sir? You are being very disrespectful, sir. You can't talk about shitting and all these things about gods and goddesses. Oh, okay, fine. So I shouldn't talk about the shitting. But do they have intestines? Do they eat? Do they have hunger? No, sir, they are not like us. So no hunger? No, sir. But they have got intestines, stomach. Yes, sir. Stomach juices? If there are stomach juices, why are they being secreted? Unless they feel hungry and they eat. And if they feel hungry and they eat, then they shit. So question is, what do they eat? Do they eat ruffles? Do they eat ruffles lace? Or do they eat laddus and modaks? Or do they eat all that prasad stuff that you put into temples? All that sugar, all those pedas. Is that all they eat? Gods and goddesses. Your goddess. Is she veg or non-veg? She is veg, sir. Pure veg, sir. Okay, she likes puris, Shrikhand and puri. Now there is a difficulty. If she likes Shrikhand and puri, that Shrikhand would have to be made with cow's milk. So you got to have a bunch of cows. Okay. And then those cows have to be milked by someone else. Hopefully the goddess is not milking those cows. And those cows, that cow's milk has to be turned into curd. Now you know how curd is made, right? You put a little bit of curd into milk and then it turns into curd. You keep it long enough, too long it becomes sour. Not long enough, it is not proper curd. Then you have to hang the curd so that you remove some of the moisture from it. That's how you make Shrikhand. So someone's making that Shrikhand, and someone is frying the puris in ghee, groundnut oil. Now the guy is in trouble. Because then you have to visualize someone frying the puris, someone making the Shrikhand, someone cooking potatoes. Does the goddess like potatoes? Does she like masala? Low salt? High salt? What? Now, how do you think of all these things about goddesses? Does goddess take a bath? What does goddess do? When she is not just blessing people, when she is not standing there smiling vaguely and looking at you and with a blessing in her hand and all that kind of thing which you are imagining, what does she do? Does she have some activity? Like, does she lie down? Does she think? Does she watch national politics? Does she watch the politics of India? Does she watch the politics of America? Is she watching Joe Biden? Is she watching the Chinese politics? And you know what? Is she watching the coronavirus? Can she see the coronavirus? Surely she can see the coronavirus. And surely she can see the future. And you are the devotee of this goddess. Is she saving you from coronavirus? You should be praying to her. Seriously. You should be asking her, Devi, save me from coronavirus. But do you have confidence that she will save you from coronavirus? That she is saving you? You are alive so far, but are you confident that you won't be dead after 1 week? If you land up in hospital, is goddess going to organize oxygen for you? Are you sure? Is it the doctor who's going to put you on saline and oxygen and save you? Or the goddess will be acting through the doctor, is it? And why did the goddess let loose coronavirus of all the things? Nobody seems to have asked these questions. Goddess, can she get COVID? No. She's perfect. Sure, she's perfect. Oh, but in her blood circulation, she has the same immune cells, white cells? Or is she slightly anemic like most women? Indian women, because of their periods and their dietary habits, most Indian women are anemic, slightly anemic, less of red blood cells. Is that the case with a goddess, or is she perfect? Like if she gave a blood test, if someone drew her blood, what would happen? It won't be glowing, right? So the moral of the story is that when you look like this, I can keep asking questions. I can ask you a whole bunch of questions. The point of the questions is not to disrespect your goddess. The point of the questions is to show you that you have a very low resolution image of the goddess. You haven't thought it through. You're just thinking of the idol, the external form. But if you think it through, does the goddess have pubic hair? Now you're in trouble. Does the goddess's hair grow? Does she get pimples? Does she have acne? Does she have sexual urges? Yes? No? No. She's perfect, sir. She doesn't look at a god and have urges? No, sir. Okay, so she has a vagina, properly functioning, fully functional set of female equipment. Everything is there, everything is working, but it's just for show, is it? She doesn't have sexual urges. She doesn't want to do anything with her ding-dongs. She doesn't think of a male god. Or does she? Does she? Do gods and goddesses have sex? When? What kind of sex? Just straight out intercourse. And what are they doing? Are they praying to another god? Or what are they doing when they are having sex? You and I, when we are having sex, we have sexual thoughts. We don't call out the names of we may say, oh my God, I'm coming. But other than that, I don't think we have holy thoughts. But these gods and goddesses, what do? Do they have holy thoughts? Do gods and goddesses have oral sex? Do they? Other kind of sex? Kinky sex? Do they give hand jobs? Do they give blow jobs? What do they do with their perfect equipment? They are omnipotent. They can do anything. And boss, just in case you think I'm being disrespectful by talking about gods and goddesses having sex, go check out stories about Shiva. Okay, there's a story called Brahmakapala. Check it out. Check out why Shiva cut off Brahma's head. What was Brahma doing that got Shiva so angry that he cut off his head? Ask that question. There's another Bhikshu Roop, I forget the exact name, when Shiva went around with a Bhiksha Patra in his hand. I think it was Brahma's skull, Brahmakapala, in his hand. Okay, he went around like a beggar. But he was a very horny beggar. And I'm not saying this. Your Shastras are saying it. Very horny beggar. So he went and seduced the wives of sages. Okay? The wives of sages went mad with lust looking at his erect penis. I'm not saying this. Check it out. There's a story. There are stories. So here's my question. Gods and goddesses having sex, are they still having sex nowadays in the 21st century? Or are they dead and gone and we are talking about historical gods and goddesses? The point of this whole conversation, my friends, is to show you that you're not thinking about details. You have a very, very low resolution image of what it means to be gods and goddesses and to have gods and goddesses. So, I'm concluding this bullshit number 4 of Hindutva. Low resolution thinking, fuzzy thinking, non-detailed thinking, shallow thinking. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Maharashtra, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. and fuck off Modi Sarkar.